Let's get the story straight. It's gonna be tonight. I keep it short and sweet. I'll finally be there on time. And just because we're in love don't make it right. And you know what you want, and babe, I've tried. Can I put my head on your shoulder just one more time, baby? Over means over. Your story's not my story to write. So baby, I'm sorry for tonight. Not unexpectedly, I get your letter and I can't find the words to say, so I just keep it inside. And you say, tell me why you do me wrong. Well, I promise that I'm trying to be strong for us both now, baby. Can I put my head on your shoulder just one more time, baby? Over means over. Your story's not my story to write. So baby, I'm sorry for tonight. I'm sorry for tonight, yeah. I'm sorry for tonight. I'm sorry for tonight. When I said it for the last time, my intentions that were on fire, face to face with the story of a life, where my greatest love had passed me by. But there's more to love and beautiful flames. They became embers eventually. Though our words are immortal, the only truth is what I can be. Can I put my head on your shoulder just one more time, baby? Over means over. Your story's not my story to write. Can I put my head on your shoulder just one more time, baby? Over means over. Your story's not my story to write. So baby, I'm sorry for tonight. I'm sorry for tonight. I'm sorry for tonight.
How did Welcome to another wonderful week of the Weekly Milestone. And today, we've got me and Phoenicia, and we've got all kinds of stuff to talk about. Uh, even though she's still getting back into playing and stuff, she's pretty experienced with the Artisanals and Bardics, so I wanted to have her on to talk about that. And we'll probably even talk about that throughout the month since those will be open the whole time. I'd like to see what people have to say as we go along in October. But yeah, let's get into it here. Let's see. All right. What would you like to start with? Do you want to start with the things you know, or do you want me to talk a little bit about some of this other stuff?
I think probably just get some of the smaller stuff out of the way. Huh. Just go down the list.
Yeah, we could go down the list. Let me pull the change logs up. We'll talk about some change logs first. And that's always fun. If I can even type, that'd be good. Good lord. I'm tired. So this week, they have the automated change log on the 30th about which I'm not even sure I completely read this one yet. Because I think there was a bunch of stuff going on in game for me when it happened. But it looks like we have some more provisioning changes, which I'm sure you'll appreciate since you have used
Oh,
provisioning
those
forever.
things.
Yeah,
Those were annoying.
yeah.
Uh,
So apparently, I guess provisioning was spitting out too much experience as a reward.
it wasn't even all that much.
Well, unless
I
they tweaked it. Well, like I don't know if you've done it in a while, but maybe I think they might have changed some things with it, and then possible maybe the changes were a little out of whack, but I haven't submitted anything to provisioning in like almost 2 years because I did it one time and then like just never could get another order at the time. So
That's because there were very few of those, and the number of people that were competing to get orders was a lot higher. But since mining came out, provisioning should be quite a bit easier to do since I last checked. Hmm.
yeah, and then of course you have you can conceal cursed worn items again. That's a cool addition and fix. The fixed lit forge is not appearing as such in room when it is in use. I think that's actually been a bug for a long time. I didn't even know about it until recently, but I think Sryan might have mentioned that somewhere because he does a lot of forging. Yeah, there he is in chat too. They fixed that. Fix the timer on mining renegotiation not ticking down. I haven't used that skill yet. I wasn't sure if it was be worth it with the way prices are for commodities versus how much gold you would spend for a season or whatever it is. Um, but it's good that that was fixed. Oh yeah, Austin was also a loud complaint about that. I think you're right, Austin. I think you might have been the one that I think it might have been both of you that I seen mentioning that before. It's a good change. And there's some stuff with the sect shop, which I can't speak too much. I don't think you can either. Neither of us really do sect. So, cleaned up spur mount skyward incorrectly using unblockable movement type. That's interesting. I didn't even know that was true. But in my experience with flying in game, there's all kinds of wonky things that happen when you change your elevation that shouldn't happen. So that's not that surprising to me. Yes, I tried to enunciate my words better. Sect of
Yeah, it's
Blades.
pronounced sect.
Sect of Blades. Yes, sex of blades, sex shops, all that sort of thing. You know? God, y'all are awful. I can't help it. And believe me, my enunciation used to even be worse before I worked at the caption call job. I had to caption things into a headset for people and had to learn to slow down a little bit. All right, but Help Buildings has had all references to player housing removed and been thoroughly edited for consistency and ease of reading. I have not read that yet either, but that sounds like a great change. The more the merrier on those sorts of changes. Um,
Mostly help file cleanup. That's really all it is.
yeah, and it was a really good change log. Did we have anything else of note during the week here? Oh yeah, the look command got completely recoded. I remember reading that one.
Oh yes, that I saw that one on the forums. Like you get to actually orders all of your worn items from top to bottom.
Yep, it's a good one. And then the other changelog from the week was the warehouse deposit thing, and that can kind of lead us into one of the other topics I posted that I wanted to talk about, the what I decided to call in the notes the mining kerfluffle. Um, so like apparently, and I'm sure a ton of people know this in chat. Like a lot of us shipped our ores for the season without shipping lignite coal, and it wasn't just like I thought. From where I'm in Anorian or whatever, I thought it was just me and like a couple of other Anorian people, but from what I saw, it's actually like a bunch of people that made that mistake. So they had to go in and make a temporary command so we could all deposit lignite coal at the warehouse to get our ores to actually process. Otherwise, we would have had to wait till the entire next season for the next caravan, and then have all those holding fees. That was one of the big bizarre things that happened with mining during the week. But I even saw last night on Newbie, one of the newbies was like confused on how to, like they just assumed you could deposit all the time, I believe, and were like confused as to why you couldn't. I thought that was fascinating. But yeah, I know you can't really speak to mining, but I just thought that was an interesting thing that happened during the week. You don't often see them willing to put a temporary command into the game to fix something. But all right, well, moving on. We did change logs here. What else we got? We could talk about a little. I'll talk a little bit about the class lead thing. So obviously we got a surprise round of class leads that got posted for the next 3 weeks, and they are going to be anonymous this time. Anybody that submits new reports, which is really interesting. I might be in the minority. I don't know, but I think that that's a positive change. I think that people being able to anonymously post it is a good thing.
I'm kind of surprised that wasn't the case before. I swear they were.
I think they've tried it in the past.
Because the thing about having a person's name attached to the class lead suggestions, I mean, people will say that they're unbiased, but they pretty obviously are.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, and I think it stands to note too that like they could even be being biased without realizing it and stuff like that, or think they're not and then they are. Like, there's just all kinds of things with it. I've long held the opinion that class leads for years and decades now, even because even like on Empyrean when I used to play and they called it liaisons back then, they've all been pretty like politicized in my opinion. Um, Maybe that's not everybody's opinion. Maybe that's not even the truth, but that's just the way I've seen it. And I think steps like that, like making them anonymous, like I think that that's a good thing to get away from like politicizing, class lead changes. So good on them for trying it at least.
it's a step in the right direction, but if you know somebody has been complaining about one particular thing, you're still probably going to know who submitted that class lead.
Maybe. I have one in mind that I'm going to submit that I've never complained about on any channel that I think is it's a little strong what the ability does compared to everybody else's similar abilities, so I think it's worth taking a look at again. But that's what the anonymous thing is for. And also it's cool that they made it to where you can do 3 reports again. We haven't seen that in a little bit, since Karok had stepped down from doing the from him being the one specifically that does class leads. So yeah, it was a nice little surprise change. I was wondering the whole time that Ictennis had been charged, like what they were going to do with all that. Because I think after Karok stepped down, only doing them every 6 months and having one report per person was like a tier decision. So it's good to see that they decided to throw it in this month, along with everything else. I think it's a good thing. Let's see here. We're blowing through some of these topics here. I did want to mention, and I threw this in at the last minute on the notes because it happened the other day. We had like there was a bunch of people who got bountied to Anorian because of rating or whatever. And then I
Oh,
just
that's
did.
not new.
Well, I decided like since there was some people on there that I felt like I could reasonably go after and collect the bounty on, that I was going to try to do the bounties for the first time because I'd never really done them at all ever. So I took a couple of them and I go and attack one of them, and the person they're bashing with reasonably attacks me as well, which is fine. But then like a third person came in and they all three killed me, which is fine. In my opinion at the time, I was like, well, that was kind of my fault. Like, I should have been a little sneakier and more patient. I was fine with it. But then I had people telling me, you know, on web and our combat clan and stuff, that it was like illegal to, like, if you say you're going to do a bounty on someone, that like people aren't supposed to be able to help you. So I issued myself for clarification, and it turns out that's not the case. So like, let me see if I can pull the issue up again. Uh, let's see here. I think I put it somewhere. Let me scroll up here. Yeah, I issued myself, and the official ruling on that sort of thing is that it is not illegal to defend someone that has a bounty on their head. However, anyone who chooses to involve themselves in a fight that is not their own by doing this is subject to retaliation per standard PK cause guidelines. This includes defenders and anyone assisting in completing a bounty and goes both ways. So that was an interesting ruling. Yeah, I mean, I as far as people making rules up, I didn't know, like, when somebody told me that was the rule, I didn't it wasn't even me seeking a rule. I was fine with being like, well, I just messed that up and I lost, which is fine with me because there's like nothing stopping me from waiting and doing it again, or whatever. But people were like, "Oh, they're not supposed to be able to do that." And I was like, "Is that true?" And apparently it's not true, so but it's nice to have an official ruling on it. I thought that was kind of interesting.
More like a clarification, because as far
Yeah,
as I'm aware, that had always been the case.
yeah. Well, Artsy Fartsy says, I don't mind them killing you, but the shout afterwards was childish. So, clarification on that. First off, I found it's like I only heard the shout like immediately after I died, so I didn't have any like context for it. But I found out from the person that did the shout in an out of character tale later that it was not directed towards me. It was directed towards the third person that came and killed them with AOE damage that was on their side. At least that's what they told me, and I was like, "Oh, okay, well, yeah, you know." And from what I understand, I think they also got a talking to or something about using language like that in shouts, but anyway, that was a mouthful. I'm gonna take a deep breath there. Let's read some things in chat here. Shouts are important. One thing on that situation is what is considered raiding. Line of sight from a city entrance. My understanding from what I was told in game, because I had logged off like right before it happened, was that someone had aura still from being at Orrery and was standing at our landward gate or something, and then a whole bunch of people came right outside and tried to yank them out when they had aura. But the city still considers that raiding, even though they were open PK from the aura. But that was just my understanding of what I was told. But yeah, like most cities have any like they'll flag you for raiding no matter what the circumstance, as long as you're like standing line of sight from their entrance. Because that's how I got enemy to Bloodlock uh, long time ago. I was literally following Benedicto around for a lesser or something, and I think it happened to be in the desert near Bloodlock. And then I was just following him as some random person in the group, and he like led us in front of the city, and I got enemied for it, and I've been enemied since. I don't really consider that rating, but like I guess by the player laws, that's rating. So, but to me as a person, I would consider rating a group coming into the city and killing NPCs and people. Um, so it's kind of weird to me that all the cities have this line of sight rating law, but that's it is what it is. I don't make the laws or the rules; the other players do. All right, what do we got next here? Mm-mm-mm-mm. Let me find my notes, guys. I'm sorry.
Just scroll up
Well, I was in another window inside of Discord. Okay, here we go.
Called
So,
Notepad.
yeah. All right.
Hmm.
Yeah, we can talk about that announcement post too. I'll pull that up.
Oh, is this the one I think it is?
The
The
one about
elect
elections.
Yeah, that.
So that got posted in last week as well. Oh,
Yeah,
I know.
I saw that.
I was gonna say I know they've had those 10+ years, and I just personally still think it's kind of a weird law for all the cities to have. But again, that's just my opinion. It doesn't really. It's not like I can do anything about it. But I kind of come from the wild west of Empyrean, where like raiding was me going solo into a city and like stripping people's cloak defense and braziering them and killing them by myself, and that was kind of actual raiding, not standing outside of somebody's gate or whatever. But anyway, we were going to talk about this announcement post a little bit.
Oh boy, oh boy.
So this has also kind of been, in my experience, kind of like one of those. I don't know if it's always actually been a rule, but I feel like it used to be like an unspoken rule, one of those things we have in Atolia.
It used to always be a rule. So,
Okay.
um, I don't know if you need to explain the announce post to people because I'm pretty sure everyone's read it. Even I've read it, and I'm not an active player that
Right.
much. But um, even back when I was still new, it was kind of an unspoken it was kind of like an unspoken kind of conduct thing where you are not supposed to punish people for contesting, any guild position or city position.
Right.
Um, because not only looks bad, it's just really poor player etiquette in general. But and this was years ago, like 10 years ago or so, maybe or maybe more, where could restrict election voting to certain guild ranks. Like you couldn't vote above, or you couldn't vote under like rank 2 or
Right.
2,
Yeah.
or you had to be let's say guild rank 3 or whatever higher in
Right.
order to run for a guild position. uh, that was considered normal, but that at the time, I mean.
Yeah.
But um like if somebody contested you and you lost, uh, the people in leadership couldn't just kick you out for contesting. That's
Right.
always been the case.
Right. Right. Um.
But I know that got you know clarified at some point in the last couple of years. I don't remember when. I know it did. At least I'm fairly sure it. But I've been through a couple of different guilds, and some of them still had like those election restrictions. Like most
Yes.
guilds would not kick you out or punish you in any way if you contested,
Right.
the leadership. But some individual people would still do that.
Right.
It wasn't outright. It was just kind of like, oh, you stepped out of line. Here's a guild disfavor or whatever.
Right.
So it was kind of obvious they were still punishing you, but not overtly punishing you because I I have a very cynical take on players in the game. I've not had exactly, the most positive experiences, and I know people do that. Like, people will
Well.
say, "Oh, we don't do that," but I
Right.
the fact that they're making an announce post about it right now definitely means people have still been doing it.
Well, they either did it or were caught considering doing it. Maybe they didn't do it, but like people were talking about it or something. But I will say, in
And
my
the
experience, two things here on this. Firstly, when I won an election on my old shadow character, and I won Indrani Guildmaster for a little bit. I actually was encouraged by one of the people who wanted me to run, who was a good friend of mine, to like remove people that like were in the guild immediately, and that's also, I feel, even though like he told me to do that, and like that was kind of the plan at the time. I like once I was guildmaster at the time, I just didn't do that because like it just felt wrong. Like even though we're all playing, grumpy, selfish shadow character or whatever, like I was or whatever, but it's like it just feels wrong, and it's like not a thing you should do. Just like kicking people out for trying to take part in a election process in a game. And secondly, yeah, I was gonna mention what Steve said in chat. Um, Templars have it in their laws that you can't contest unless you're a secretary, former GM, or someone with a title of High Lord. Yeah, I was gonna mention that like that's still in place right now, which is kind of against this announcement post, So I don't know for sure, but I would stand. I think it stands to reason that Templars probably aren't the only guild with laws in place like that. So looks like some organizations are probably gonna have to redo some of their laws and rules and stuff.
For some orgs, there are positions that are specifically appointed. So you have, I think it's either the guild master and or guild secretaries that will appoint certain positions. You can't get elected for those.
Right.
That's fine, you know. But for positions that can be elected, like oh crap, like guild city representation of the ruling council, guild master, city leader, those things. I I don't think those should be gated. Um, behind city rank or whatever, because I think people's actions kind of speak for themselves if they're active or they're doing stuff. Doesn't matter if their city rank is still pretty low. It should be open to contest. If a person's active and doing stuff.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say, like Ergo Proximus said in chat, there they said that there are reasons to believe that the Throne Keeper position in Bloodlock was being quote rigged in a way, with certain guilds holding referendums or councils to decide who got to run for Throne Keeper, thereby ensuring their success, and that they think that this is the most likely reason for the reminder and clarification. So. Yeah, that might be true. Again, like I don't get to hear much about what goes on in Bloodlock. I have some friends that are in Bloodlock, but they don't really message me about what goes on. But that's interesting to hear about that. It probably is, but I think it's also just a good announce in general to remind people. And I think that I wonder if this is meant to be like more of a warning than oh, all the organizations need to change their laws right now. Like I'm not really sure because like Steve said earlier, like the Templars already have a law that says you can't contest for Pentarch unless you have this rank or whatever, which goes completely against what's supposed to be in this announce post.
It's still kind of funny though that there has to be announced posts reminding people, oh, don't be a dick.
Yeah, well, like we are in a social game here, but it's still a game, and like people approach games in general differently. Some will just play them casually and have fun and try not to be a dick, and then some people will like just hardcore go at them and do whatever it takes to win. Like that's I've seen that not just in Aetolia. I've seen that like playing Magic the Gathering, playing competitive Magic and that sort of thing. It's just the way games are.
Yeah, I totally get that too because I play D&D a lot. I'm in a lot of Discord servers for it, and people still need to be reminded to A, not be a creep, B, not be a dick.
Yep. Yep, it is what it is, as they say. So that was an interesting announce post. I'm glad it got posted. I think it's again a good reminder. And yeah, I think we can go ahead and get to the big stuff. We can start with the artisanal bardic stuff since I know you're itching to talk about that. I can talk about it a little bit with you, but I'd also like to talk about the other stuff that got posted on the first, like the tome quest, which me and you have both done. I'm sure a lot of people in chat have done it. The shop with the title and all that. But yeah, like what do you think about? I know you have some thoughts about the prize structure of the artisanal bardic, but
Well,
you can go ahead and
all
start wherever you want, and I will interject whenever I want to make note of something. So
right, sure, no problem. So, for most people in chat, I'm pretty sure, you all know that artisanals and bardics are nothing new. It used to be like years and years ago. I think going on like 10, 15 years ago now. Artisanals and bardics used to be a monthly thing,
Right.
and you know, uh, it was kind of like yeah, it was a monthly contest, and it wasn't themed or anything. People could just submit what was essentially amounted to fan art every month, uh, and then every month, a winner would be picked, and you'd get placed, and you'd get a prize, and depending on your placement, you'd accumulate artisanal or bardic. Um, and I can't remember when exactly they stopped doing the artisanals and bardics. It was like I want to say 10 years ago now.
Hmm.
It's been a while,
Yeah. I'm not
but
sure either. I can't remember either.
but I remember the structure because I was actually participating in both at the time. Um, and the interesting thing about artisanals and bardics, the real thing that you're really trying to go for isn't really the credit prize. Like that's like the main thing anyone will ever see. But the real prize is accumulating the artisanal and bardic points.
Right.
Because the more points that you accumulate from submissions and placing, uh the more your rank increases. And like there's different thresholds. I think there's like 5 artisanal and bardic ranks. I don't remember now.
Let me pull it up here. I'll pull up Bardix because honestly, Bardic is easier to spell for me than artist anal or whatever.
Artisanal. Or artisanal? I don't know.
Anyway, yeah,
I
there's
I
7
think it was
ranks. There's 7
is it
ranks for
7?
Bardix at least.
I think it's the same for artisanals.
Hmm.
Um and I think it was you
It
placed
is.
first, you get 3 points. Second place, it's 2 points, and then the runners up are all 1 point each.
Right.
Um, and so the real goal was to accumulate points, because that's actually how you get bonus credits.
Yep.
So every time that you win or place, you get bonus credits according to what your artisanal or bardic rank was. So if you were somebody who could, write really well or do art really well, it was definitely I wouldn't say a free way of getting credits, but it was a good way to get credits really quickly.
Yeah.
That's actually how I earned a lot of my early credits from participating in artisanals. But so over the past couple of months, I've been doing a lot of the art commission stuff and writing stuff, and I have a much different experience and outlook on that stuff now. So if you look at the prize breakdown, the normal prize breakdown, it's something like 200 credits for first place.
Hmm.
And that's not including any bonuses that you get from the artisanal or bardic rankings.
Right, because
So like
first place also gives 4 points, which is guaranteed to rank you up from whatever you're at.
yeah, it's a guaranteed rank up. And I forget how many bonus credits that is, but
Uh,
it's
each
um,
each like numbered rank gives you that many times 100. Like so, like if it's rank 1, it's 100. If it's rank 2, it's 200. Rank 3, 300, and so forth.
oh geez, okay. Wow, that's yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, so you would
So
get
yeah,
200 for first place. Like if you won it, for example, since you have Illustrator, you're rank 3. If you won it, you would get Sculptor and get like a total of 600 credits.
yeah. So like the real prize isn't, the actual prize reward for that artisanal. It's the point. Um, because if you accumulate enough, you move on to the next tier and you get bonus credits for that.
Hmm.
And I can't remember. Yeah, I was saying earlier, I can't remember when it was when they stopped doing the artisanals or bardics. I want to say it was at least um more than 5 years ago. It's definitely been more than 5. Um, because I remember they stopped them before I stopped playing, like for 2 years. So yeah, it's at least 5 years. I want to say a little closer to 10 since bardics and artisanals were a thing. But if you look at the prize breakdown, why it says it was around 2015. Yeah, so about 6 years since the consistent artisanals and bardics were stopped, and the reasoning for it, and it's totally understandable that the quality and number of submissions like really dropped. And it was always the same people winning every time. I was one of those. I'm not gonna lie. Um, yeah, and it was always the same people winning every time. But admittedly, Atoli is kind of a small pool to pull from to begin with. But yeah, they stopped them because like the quality of the submissions, really tanked.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to keep giving out free credits for like really crappy artwork and writing, right?
Right. Well,
Um,
I don't know if you'd say crappy, maybe
well,
less
I would
quality
less,
artwork.
yeah, less than stellar quality, but um, having done the stuff that I've been doing like for the past couple of months, I kind of have a much better idea of the kind of quality that prize level would command. So this isn't considering the current bardic and artisanal price list, but like for the base reward of 200 for like just the normal artisanals and bardics, that's that's nothing.
Right.
That's I don't know if anyone's
Well,
ever tried to commission an actual like, an artist for character art or anything like that. But on average, for a full body character art, fully colored and shaded and whatnot without any background, about how much it would cost credit wise, for the first place prize, about 200 credits, which is about like $70. Actually, I think my rate's like 80 now. It should be
yeah,
higher.
but
So that kind of doesn't really amount to much. Uh, but for
mhm.
the actual first prize, which is 500, that's about what was it, 150? Like $150 US?
I don't remember.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's something like that. Which is actually not too bad. For like the level of art quality that I
160
expect for something like
169 for 500
that.
credits.
169? Yeah, so that's actually not too bad. So, like the level of artwork you could reasonably expect for something like that, and what I would think would be expected would be like something that's fully painted, some good rendering, stuff like that. Uh and that's about, I want to say, between 8 and 12 hours worth of work. That's to
Well,
put things in perspective for,
that's also
people doing
across
art.
that's across the whole month, and then also
That's
on
across
top of
the whole
that,
month, yeah.
you're
But
also approaching this from someone who does it professionally versus like, a lot of people are going to submit things cuz they're like hobbyists that are just trying to
yeah, that's what I'm saying though.
submit for fun.
You still have to kind of keep the level of effort in mind. And I think that's something that should be and probably will be reflected in the judging. You kind of have to keep in mind the level of effort and skill for stuff like that. Because like doing the illustration work and stuff that I've been doing, you kind of get a much better idea of how much time something takes, how much it would cost, you know, the skill level involved, stuff like that. So that's kind of reasonable level of what you should expect for that prize pool, which actually isn't too bad, considering the number of artists. But the pool of artists in Atoli has always typically been kind of small. Uh, Bardix, on the other hand,
Yes,
is
let's talk about Bardic, something
yeah. Let's
I
talk
might
about
actually
Bardix.
try to do.
So, uh, I I have no no idea how to say this in a way that wouldn't be somewhat insulting, but bardics are a comparatively much lower bar for entry. Simply because everybody's playing a text game. You should all know how to write. And it doesn't take much
Well,
to pump out, a little short story, right?
oh
Because
no, you've made
yeah,
chat mad.
because you're all playing a text game. There's like 100 or so players. You all know how to write. You can spin a story. If you can role play, you can write a story. But
Well, I don't know. I think there's a big difference between the plot of a story that you're writing and like the spontaneity of like role playing with people in
okay,
Atoria.
okay. Like all right, okay, fair enough, fair enough. Is I have experience like writing short stories and novels and stuff, and definitely that's a much different experience from role playing. But like no, I wouldn't say it's a huge difference between it. Like there is a difference, but it's not that big. Um, but like as I was saying, the bar for entry for Bardics is significantly lower since I mean, I would assume a lot of you know how to tell a story, you know how to write, you know how to write a character, blah 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 blah. You're all role players in a text role playing game. You probably know how to write. I'm not insulting you. I'm saying that this is supposed to be kind of like a compliment. You should all, be able to do this. You should all be able to enter. And you know what? You can. You know,
Yeah.
um, at the same time, like, I think I calculated it. So, in order to have the level of quality match the prize pool for a bardic. So I looked it up before, and I also have a writer friend who's done literary commissions. So he actually writes stories for people on request, and they pay him for it. And I believe I can't remember what his rate was. I think his rate was like $20 per 100 words, something like that. And on average, literary commissions run from 10 cents to a buck per word. So if we're going by the what was it, $170 US, which is like the 500 credits word, I think that's what it's equivalent to. Uh, you'd have to write approximately 1,500 to 2,000 words, in order to kind of equal that, like worthwhile. Uh,
Uh-oh, there's no corpse there. Oh, your microphone cut out.
did it?
Yep.
Yeah, I was just saying that yeah, in order to equal like the level of quality to be worth the prize pool uh for Bardics, anywhere between 1,500 to 2,000 words is about right. If you go over that, you're doing too much. Um
Yeah, but
and if
like
you go if you go way less, you're not doing enough.
but yeah, like Wyatt says, like it was basically what I said earlier, you're coming at this from a professional angle instead of like, a little contest in a game, which is what it is, but I mean,
Well,
I understand
Well,
that
the reason why I'm even bringing it up is that even if it is a contest, you have to consider how much work you're putting in. Like you don't want to go overboard and then not win. You know,
yeah. Well,
like especially for like the prize pool involved.
in reality, in my opinion, I'm just happy they're even happening in the first place since, like we said earlier, it's been 6 years, so um if if it isn't your job, then you don't. Yeah, like I get what you're saying. Like if your intent is to win and do well in these, it's probably going to take a lot of effort. But I think from where
You
it's
need
a monthly
to put
thing,
into it, yeah, for sure.
and I think here's the way I look at it too is like the points only matter if these things are going to actually be more regular again. The points are pretty irrelevant to accumulate if they're never going to be able to be increased, like if we just stop doing them. But I have a lot of faith in them that they said they're going to do them more often again. So I think it's great that like if we do decide to do them more often again and we stick to that, then this is basically the start of something really great for people. And you don't have to rely on it just being a one shot thing that you have to put all your effort into. That's
Yeah,
the way I
yeah,
look at it.
that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, you have to put effort into it, but don't put too much.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you're putting like a crap ton of effort into it, you're overworking yourself for what's supposed to be just like a quick, fun little contest. Like, I know a lot of professional artists and writers will still enter contests just to kind of flex their skills a little bit, but you don't go full ham on something like this unless like you're really trying to show off. But
Right.
like you don't over engineer it.
Yeah. Well, but like moving on a little bit, like specifically, what do we think about the one word topic for both of them, legacy? What springs to mind for everyone when they think of that? Well, I mean, you don't have to say if you're gonna. I don't want anybody to give anything away for their submission or whatever, but like I've been thinking about that a lot at work today. Like, what would if I was going to do a bardic, what would I write that uses the word legacy? Like, what would be inspired for that? But I don't know what you think about it. Uh oh. I click that link and a 404 appears. I think the link's broken. Let's see. I feel like I thought I got a message. Oh, never mind. Yeah, I think a lot of people probably don't want to say their ideas to give anybody else like an idea to compete better with them. Because like again, it's a contest. I can understand being a little competitive about it and wanting to win. Um, but I've had a few ideas for it. Legacy can mean a lot of things when you think about it. Yeah, I think it's a good topic and it fits right in with the history theme. But all right, let's see.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways that it can be interpreted.
Uh oh. Oh goodness, that's an interesting link. Uh, first place definitely looks like in that image what I would draw. An Iron Realms legacy family portrait. Would that be like one of those old time, old style family picture beams you see, but it'd be like with Jeremy and Matt? That would be rather hilarious. Well, Poe, did you wanna go ahead and I know you said what you wanted to say for the artisanal and bardics. Did you wanna go ahead and depart? I know you might have some art stuff to do that you mentioned earlier. Well, she left. Well, it's just me now, guys. I am gonna go ahead and talk about a few more things with the October 1st stuff because I wanted to. I wrote them down. Let's talk about that. So, the Iron Lottery, Varian in an armchair, and his kids are all around him, Godfather style. Yeah, I mean that would be kind of cool too. I'm not prepared for it. Nah, probably not. I'm gonna go a little longer unless people would like to come in. I mean that's fine. I'm gonna remove this. Go. All right. I wanted to talk a bit about the October 1st stuff. Uh, so the Iron Lottery thing. I've been getting a lot of Iron Lottery tickets so far for like random stuff. And I think that's the intent. I mean, if you want to, do you want to, Zortania? You can come in and we could talk about a few of these last things. Or anybody else that wants to come in? Oh,
Oh God,
who's that? You're
that's it.
here.
That's Sardinia. Yeah.
Okay. Let me enable your webcam and stuff real quick. I'm gonna enable your border first.
Oh God.
And I'm gonna move it around a bit. And let's make it a little smaller. There we go. And I need you to give me your video.ninja thing again so I can import your webcam. And Zortania will be joining us. Let me go ahead and get that set up.
Okay, I'm sending the link in chat now. Oh, that's not it. Okay, there you go.
All right. Where are you at? There you are. Oh, it might be. I'm not sure if that. Yeah, you have to. There's usually one that has the word view. There you go.
There you go. There's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
view
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay. Let's see if that works. Or if I have to delete the. Hold on. We'll try this again. There you go. There we are.
Yay.
We move her around.
Hi, everyone.
Let me try to line your webcam up with your border again.
Okay.
I might have to adjust your border real quick.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, I got it, I think. That's good enough anyway.
That's good enough.
Oh, well, little tiny gap on the right. Gonna fix it. There we go. We got it. Okay, so we can go ahead and continue to talk about the topic that I was getting started on, and then we could circle back to anything if you wanted to talk about anything else that was listed since you're on now.
Sure. I mean, we can just keep going. It's fine.
Yeah,
I don't want you to have to be by yourself.
it's okay. All right. Well, again, have you gotten any of the Iron Lottery tickets yet from anything?
I have, yeah. I got it from. I did a small wheel spin, and then I think the rest of them have been primarily from like bashing or something. I don't think I got anything from anything else. So yes, I have a whole four on Ririn, and then I have like
Let's see how many I have.
30 on my alt.
Oh, on your alt. Let's see.
Yeah, I did the wheel spins on my shadow alt.
Oh, okay, I got you. I have 8 of them now, but yeah, like, how do you feel about the drop rate for them? Do you think it's good? Could be better?
I think it's pretty fair. I haven't seen what all they've been offering it for, but it definitely helps drive a little bit more extra activity. It gives you a little bit of incentive to get out there and do things besides just the milestones. So I think it's good, especially at a chance, to possibly get 1,000 credits. I mean,
Yeah.
it's nice.
Yeah, for just doing stuff you're doing anyway. I love these lotteries. I think I too have gotten most of mine from killing things just randomly. But I think they do have like an increased chance to drop if you're killing like milestone targets, like Tolinar and Marcelo and stuff like that.
Probably.
It's
It's probably some of those big ones that they are like, oh, let's give them a little extra bonus.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it says that in the announcement post too, though. But yeah, it's
Probably.
I'm interested to see how many lottery tickets I'll get from playing in this month, considering my limited play time now that I'm a real boy, an adult.
Sorry, I got the wheeze laugh going today because I got a little bit of chest congestion. But yeah, you're like, I'm a real boy now.
I am. That's what I told them at the DMV when they finally gave me my login numbers and my employee number and everything the other day.
Nice.
There's no strings on me anymore. But yeah, I mean, there's not much to say about the Iron Lottery. It's a good passive chance to get bound credits. It's just another way they're, like they said in the announcement post, they're gonna let the credits flow this month. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
And let's see, what you have you done? I think you have, because I think we've talked about this in game, but you've done the tome quest, the daily quest. the promo
Yeah,
daily quest. What do
I've
you
done
think of
it
that?
twice now. Yeah. Actually, it's it does behave a little bit weirdly, but since I've been playing for a long time, most of the stuff so far has been a little the ones that I've gotten have been either more recent or a little bit older, so it's been pretty easy for me to go and figure it out. I've had Arion. I will probably butcher that. I'm just honest. I've had that one,
Hmm.
and then I had War of the Night. So, and
Okay.
that's just the two so far.
It looks like I don't know how I can't remember how many there are total. I guess it's like was it 20 or 30 entries? I can't remember. I think it was 30,
Um,
right?
well,
Well,
I have one of them's like highest number is 20, so there's got to be at least 20,
yeah, I think one of the ones I got was 25, so I think it might be 30. I'd have to
probably.
read the announcement. Yeah, why it said 31. And so because there's so much variety, I like that a lot of people I've talked to have not got repeats of each other yet from in my experience. So that's cool that like, you don't have people all getting the same one so far and like all of them being automatically knowing where they are and stuff. But uh
Yeah, I was worried that they were going to end up just going in the same order for everyone, and then everyone was going to cheat and say, "Oh,
right,
this is
yeah.
this one," just kind of like they do now with the Herald quiz or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad that they have definitely made it a random thing for folks.
Yeah, everybody seems to like the tome stuff. I think it's a really cool thing. Uh
Yeah, I definitely like it.
it's very well done, and I will say that I feel like I've been lucky so far in that like the two that I've gotten have been pretty easy. Particularly today's, like I literally got it done I think in about 5 minutes or less. Like it was super easy, because like
Yeah,
the
that was my War of the Night. It was like, okay, one, two, three, I'm done. It was
yeah.
super easy.
But I one of my proteges in game OBA, she's a squire in
Hmm.
the Templar. She was asking me for help with hers, and it was the one that has to do with betwixt the blood and sand, where the progenitor once strode. And like there's
Oh
only
boy.
one thing in the whole game that has the word progenitor in it, like a room. It's the seat of the progenitor, which is inside Bloodlock, and they said it won't be inside cities. And then she spent like all this time looking all over the desert, you know, because it stands to reason it would be between the desert and Bloodlock the way that it's worded. But she can't.
Hmm.
She was not. I don't know if she ever found it, but she was having a hell of a time, and I couldn't think of anything. But it seems like some are
Well,
super difficult and some are pretty easy.
yeah, I wonder with that one if it would end up possibly being the place Belladonna's from Fengard,
Yes,
but
I
I don't
think she
know.
had that idea too. She might have started looking there, or somebody might have told me that. I don't remember if it was her, but yeah, like somebody mentioned that to me as well. Might have been you
Yeah,
actually. I can't remember.
yeah.
Deep in the jungle, you'll find the answer. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Ah,
yeah, it's a super awesome quest. I can't wait to see. Oh, look at that! I have a message from Oba. I don't know if I should read it. I don't know if they're actually in chat or not, or just happen to be sending me a message. I don't know.
it seems very coincidental.
Right. All right, I'm gonna read this message on stream. Hopefully, it's nothing private from them. Okay, maybe they are in chat, or maybe she just happened to message me, but she said she found that room. It was 2 steps out of Bloodlock for some reason. She hadn't checked that specific room. But yeah, so there's some
Oh,
tough ones, there's some easy ones. Great quest. And then we had the special shop open the other night. I think it was the Harpy's Head Tavern,
yeah,
if
yeah.
I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and
Uh,
I think that one's been open, or they've at least got some items that were sold before because there was the Guardian Pygmy Pig and a few other mini pets that I haven't seen in a long time. So, you know me, I have an obsession with having
yeah,
all the mini pets.
right.
So I'm going daily and buying them. I've got my two so far, but I'm definitely excited to have more little things to choose from.
Yeah, I don't think that's only you. I've met many people in this game that are obsessed with collecting mini pets. So I'm glad that we're still doing that content for them. I know that it's been joked about in the past, like we were getting grumpy at the previous producer that, oh, we don't need another mini pet or whatever. But I think people love that content still, and it's good that we're still doing it.
Yeah, I miss, and this is, transparency kind of thing. I miss putting together the mini pets. That used to be one of the things that I loved to do. Because they're fun. They're cute little creatures. They don't do any harm. They just, are essentially Pokemon, but without all the fighting. So
Yeah,
I love those things.
pacifist Pokemon. You love to see it.
Yep.
But yeah, I think I'm not really one for collecting. I don't know, like a lot of the things in the shop are not going to be for me. And honestly, I probably shouldn't have bought it, but I did because I could, and I bought the expensive 1 million gold token or whatever. Um, you know, I don't know, with the history the game has sometimes of being like, do this thing at this special thing, and then you'll get this thing later on, and then it never happens. Like, I don't know if that's actually going to happen or not. But again, I actually believe it will because of how awesome everybody's been doing in the pools lately. But I was kind of bummed out initially when the title you got from spending 1 million gold was like a common title. So I complained a little bit about it in a web, but like, and then they magically seconds later increased the rarity of it. And then
There's
somebody, you know,
there's something for spending 1 million gold.
yeah, you didn't see that. It's like the most expensive item in the shop. It's well, it's not 1 million. It's 1 gold less than 1 million. It's like 99999.
Oh, you know what? No, I didn't see that. So I need to go check that out. I may have to do that just for shits and giggles.
Well, the messed up thing is too when you get a title from it, and then you're supposed to get like some kind of plot of land on Burst Chi Island or whatever it is whenever it opens. Like that's
Oh,
what it
oh,
does.
that thing. I'm
Yeah,
just
it's
sorry.
okay.
My brain's everywhere. I've got like my boss messaging me, and
I
it's fun
understand.
times. Fun times.
But what I was gonna say is like mostly like a lot of people you immediately get the title and you get a promise of getting something later. Essentially, is what it is. And
Yeah.
so when I checked the title, it's funny. First off, the title was common initially. It got bumped up to rare afterwards. Yeah, I know it's a cool title because like it's hard to get because who wants to spend 1 million gold on a title? Just weirdo people like me and Oba, I guess. But
Hey, I will do it too. I'm one of those people.
well, there you go.
Even if I don't have the gold, I'm gonna go sell some credits. I'm gonna go get that title.
But more hilariously to me, if you look at titles list when you have it, it literally just straight up says what it is. Here, let me show you what I mean. Where's it at? Aetolia or Aet20 underscore gold sync is the short name of the title. And that just that just amuses me greatly. Just so everyone who didn't have the title can see that's what that's called right there.
I love it. Love
Yeah.
it. Gold sync.
You
That's
love to see
amazing.
it. You love to see it. That's actually what it's called. I thought that might amuse you all. But yeah, interesting shop. I'll probably check it out again at some point. Maybe there is some other stuff that they have that I actually want, but I've been super busy and didn't have the time to just go through everything and see if I wanted everything.
Makes sense.
Yep. Let's see here. What's next? Well, we talked about all that. We
We
can
run out of stuff. We run out of stuff, but at least you got someone to talk to.
I do. Everything's okay. Did you want to talk about any of the other stuff that you missed? The stuff with
I mean,
mining and lignite coal, like, because I know you do mining, right? Did that
yeah,
affect you at all?
it didn't really affect me that much. I've got a little bit sitting in there, just waiting for the next round, but it's pretty minimal. It cost me like 23 gold a day or something, so not
Yeah.
really that worried about it. And I didn't have anything else to like balance it out with for now, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm just waiting. I'm being pretty patient
Gotcha.
there. Looking at the other things, the bounty system and recent issue ruling on bounties. Um, People just always are trying to game the damn bounty system. They don't want to give the XP to the other side. It's stupid. So I'm not going to really say much about that.
Not a fan of bounties.
I'm really not a
I
fan
was
of
just trying
bounties.
it out for the first time, and it was interesting, and there was a ruling on the rules, and
Well, yeah, I
I
mean,
don't know.
bounties are fine and dandy as they are. No big deal there. My part is that I don't like the people that feel they should game it and go find someone from their side to kill them and go try to claim the bounty. I thought they had fixed that so
Mm-hmm.
that you couldn't and go find like specific people. Um, so yeah, that's just me bitching about that. I was
Mm-hmm.
trying to let's see. You can still people, I swear. Just don't do that.
Yeah,
Uh
it
what?
wasn't completely pointless for me either to do the bounties because like I'd never done them, and there's like actually there's a bazillion like post knighthood tasks in the Templar, And I've
Yeah, to
already
do
done
some of those bounties.
well, I've already done like there's 20 or 22 different ones or whatever it is, and like you get the max rewards after doing 12 of them. And I've already done 12 of them in the Templar, but like I was like, well, there's one of these that I haven't done that requires doing bounties. You know, it'll be something I've never done, so I went and did it. And it counted for my little task that's redundant at this point for me, but that was cool, I guess.
Yeah, hey, and thanks to the person in the chat that says about restricting bounties.
That's
There's a
Sryan, by the way.
security can
Yeah.
Srian, sorry.
Yeah.
That's what I thought, is that they had added that because there was a bunch of people a while back that kept trying to game it really badly. But yeah, that's good. Let's see. Trying to look through the list. Let's see. Rules clarification on surrounding elections. It's about damn time they brought up that again, because people just keep throwing in these stupid rules. And I'm like, guys, anyone that's of rank to contest can contest. You can't stop them, even if you have rules, and you can't kick them out because they can contest. That's just how it works. You shouldn't be gating it
Right.
just because you don't want people to be able to do it. The game has changed. So I was like, thank God.
Well, to me, it's like if the administration, the pools, didn't want people to be able to contest unless they were a certain rank or whatever, they would have made the command that way.
Exactly. And
You
they
know?
changed it specifically because people kept doing that. I think I saw earlier in the chat where someone was talking about old Bloodlock, where they would kind of gate it and cancel it and stuff like that. And I was straight up last time we were on the stream, and I said that we used to do that.
Right.
So yeah, if the admin wanted there to be limitations, they would put limitations. The limitations are not there for a bloody reason, because there shouldn't be. So yeah, I was glad they finally re-clarified that yet again. I can't name how many times I feel like they've had to clarify that in all the years, like since they actually officially changed it in the game. They have to do it probably every couple of years. Just remind people, hey, don't
Yeah.
be dumb, crappy people. Please follow the rules. That there are no rules. Let's see. I see someone says, but what if I'm the only person who can save my org? Well, you're screwed, because I've been in that spot with a couple of different orgs I've been in. There's literally just me and then that person's crew. So I'm just like, you know what? Not much I can do there to get through that. So we could use that God complex in the Templar.
God
Oh,
complex.
that's
Oh,
not a
you're
God
so funny.
complex. It's not a God complex if an org is so entrenched that someone has the potential to do something better, but there's no way to actually do it. There's a couple of orgs in the game right now that are definitely like that, and it's not. I don't feel like some of the people that are in those orgs are necessarily having a god complex. There are definitely some. There are definitely some.
Mhm.
Some people.
Well, it's kind of, in my experience, again, having played both sides, and you've played both sides, it makes more sense thematically for Shadow to feel like that, because that's just kind of the way Dark and Shadow is and that sort of thing. All about power and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just it's weird. Like, I think a lot of this is going to happen too when all the different orgs have different laws. They have different setups for their councils. They have, just on and on and on. There's a lot of different ways of doing things.
Yeah. And honestly, I do feel like, and this is just, I know this is off tangent. We're not really specifically talking about any of the topics at this point, but
Yeah.
if we're talking about just general org, like elections and structure and all of that, as much as I would never want to play Empyrean again, and I stopped playing it when the roleplay died in it, which was a very long time ago, I really liked how they allowed organizations to really customize things, and they did it very carefully so that you could have, positions that were able to be, made custom and consolidated and contested and all of that good stuff. I really liked a lot of that. They do that a little bit with the guilds, but I really feel like they should move some of that over to the city as well. And I feel like the way that they've gone with Bloodlock and with Duran, whichever way you want to pronounce it, should really be done potentially across all the cities, where it's a position per org and then one neutral one, just to make it so that it's tying in the organizations of that city to or to that city a little bit better. Right now, you know, when you go to Anorian and you go to Spine's Reach, they're obviously not like these two orgs right now, and anyone can contest and whatnot. Um, but I feel like it should be a little bit more limited and be related to the guilds to make it kind of all just even
Right.
thematic, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I know there's goods and bads on both sides. You know, what if they're like with the Centauri right now? It's pretty much just me and Aisling most times. So there's not that many people to be able to have both a guild master and someone for a city position. But I still feel like we should try to figure out some way to make every city the same and just kind of make that system make more sense thematically. But that's me.
Yeah. It's like like we've talked about a lot of weeks on here, you know, different systems within the game that maybe should be looked at and
Yeah.
that sort of thing. But there's only so much time in a week or a year, you know? Like I get it. There's a lot of things
Yeah.
that could be looked at, but it's like how do you prioritize that when you're developing the game? I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
I wanted to say real quick before we continue, anybody that's listening to us and has us like in another window, I went ahead and opened the giveaway for the credit giveaway for the week. If you type !ticket spacebar 1 in chat, you can enter it. It costs nothing, and you can win, you know, credits. And we're still funded on that for like another, I think, 20 weeks or something like that. Something
Nice.
crazy. I think after this we'll have 750 left of what was donated to the stream. So I don't know. I didn't math all that out, but I know it's 750 after this one. Cool. I love that everybody's entering. I like when there's a lot of entries. That way it's like more random, and it's not just Steve winning for like the 4th time or whatever, because he's like the last person in here or whatever. Second, yeah, whatever. Second, third, 8th. You know, it's all semantics. You know, here's a you know, shout out to anybody who cares about this in chat, but it would be kind of cool if there was a special title for getting all 5 of the colossal elds instead of just having gateway crasher 5 times. While I'm looking at it, random
that would
thought.
be cool. That would be cool. Have one for each of the types.
Yeah,
I might sport some sort of fire thing. That'd be pretty
yeah,
nice.
Fire Slayer or something like that, something weird.
And yes, you can tell when I open up another website. Usually, if you see me suddenly brighter like this, it's because I'm checking my work email. I am still multitasking work. I apologize, but shit keeps hitting the fan with work because we have basically. Then I've said it on the last stream last week, and the next couple of weeks are just crunch time for us. So I'm paranoidly looking at every single message that comes in because I don't know what it's going to be.
Yep. Yeah, it's been a lot of stuff this week in general, and you know, I also put that we could go back to doing what we used to and kind of talk about interesting things that have happened to us during the week, but you know, there's only like 2 of us on now, so you know, I know me and you have done a little bit of role play throughout the week and tells and stuff like that. I mean, that's kind of it's been fun role playing with you, and it's been fun with role playing with a bunch of other people this week. I've had some fun. I helped out the character Amy, Amy, however you pronounce it. I helped them with a yeah, I helped them out with a fame line quest the other day. I didn't like tell them everything, but I like gave them hints and was following them along and helping them with it. That was kind of fun to do. You know,
Trying to think of what I've done this week. I feel like I've done next to nothing, and that's just because I've been heads down and worked so much this week that it was hard to manage to. I've fished. That's pretty stable.
yeah,
I talked to a few people. I did my mines.
Yeah,
my mining. So much gold ore. So much gold ore.
Yep, same here.
Yeah,
We're gold diggers. That's what we do.
We are gold digger. Now I'm gonna have the song stuck in my head. Thanks.
I know. Great success. I was gonna say, you know, we could talk about Orrery, but Orrery was Orrery. I don't think anybody wants to talk about Snorrery. So
no, I mean it actually had a little bit of activity for a few instances, but overall, you know, Shadow just ended up not doing that much, and I get it. After a while, it's just like, do we feel like bothering anymore? Nah, let's just stop bothering.
Well, you know, Well, when you get to the point where like mathematically it's hard to affect the outcome, I can understand not wanting to. That's
Yeah,
natural. Either
yeah.
side would do that.
Yeah, and I agree. I was super stoked when there were some contentions, but the bad thing is I was online and just AFK because I was working, so I didn't get to
Right.
get involved in any of them. I did manage to get in some of our lessers lately, for once, and majors, but I missed all of the Ori contentions, and I am so sad. And yes, the shoot is, it doesn't need to be nuked. You just need to learn to play better. That's all. What you do is
Wow.
you path
Savage.
track to the zone from somewhere that's going to path correctly. So if you come from the caves, you are always going to go the chute. But if you go to, say, not, or one of those other areas, and then path track into Scythe, you will not hit the chute. You just need to know which way to go in, and you will avoid it.
Wow.
Yay!
She
I
just she
know
just
this.
told you to get good.
I did. I told him to
Oh.
get good. And it took me a while to realize it, because used to do a lot of commodity runs, and I have D capes, so I'm used to using D capes. And I was like, why do I keep getting hit by hitting to shoot? And I realized, crap, it's the way it's coming in. For some reason, the pathing thinks it's faster to go through the chute than it is to actually go in and then go to that northeast direction and down and what have you. So I started testing it, and I would go to Cihadias and check their commodities first before to going to some of the other places, or Aureliana, one of those other places, and then path track. And I always avoided the chute. So you just got to figure out where to go from, and it'll
Yeah.
path better.
And then
Or just make your own path,
yeah,
like
Mule.
Mayol is saying. Yeah.
Yep. Mule just also told you to get good, but in a different way.
A nicer way than I did.
But
I'm a jerk.
we'll circle back, like Wyatt, Solani Wyatt is in chat too, and wants our thoughts now that mining's been out for a few weeks. What are the thoughts there? And then also after we talk about that, we'll mention Ergo Proximus's long message here since it's related to mining. So like I'll start with that. I think I really like mining in that it's obviously much different than farming. Again, I've mentioned this before. I like that it's so different. I like that because there's more stuff to do with it. It feels much more fleshed out than farming. Like, for example, I can still, even though it's been out a few weeks, I still go in there on occasion and still continue to explore it to try to get 100%, like when I have time on the map. And then on top of that, like, there's always stuff to kill in there. There's new random stuff to find. I think that that's a really cool way that it's been designed. I feel like the gnomes mine the ore incredibly slowly, but I feel like that's probably by design because of like you don't want everybody having like tanking the commodity prices. But what I don't like about it is how like there'll be times where like okay, I'm getting ready to log off for the evening. Everything's okay with my mind. I go to bed and I come back to Atolia the next day, and like 15 minutes after I went to bed, my gnome got knocked out. And so I lose like 12 hours of mining with my gnomes because like they got knocked unconscious randomly.
Yeah.
That's frustrating, but maybe that's also by design. What do you feel about it?
Well, honestly, I do feel like it's better than farming in many ways, and I think a lot of that is just because it's a perception. Like if farming had more than basic commodities of rope, cloth, and wood, it would probably seem like it's a little bit more beneficial. But that's pretty much all you get. And at this point, we've had it for so long that those commodities are pretty much in a good place
Yeah.
across cities and everything. So it doesn't feel as shiny and good, and it needs to have some additional commodities besides just straight up, food, cooking stuff added to it. And I think that would add an additional benefit to make it feel as good as mining does at this point. I mean, it felt fantastic when we had really low wood and cloth stocks. Now it's just like, whatever, we don't need anymore, and we move on. But I do like how mining is right now. I do like going in there and just checking things out. I really haven't run into the issue so much of it randomly having one of my guys knocked out overnight or anything. Maybe it's just, good luck. Maybe I'm just
Yeah.
having good RNG or something.
Right.
But I
Right.
haven't run into that. But yeah, I do. It does frustrate me when it does happen when I'm not at the mine. And in general, I do agree that I feel like the mining rate for the gnomes is extremely slow. I understand why for now. I
Yeah.
do hope that later they will make that go a little bit faster. I know it needs to be, in my mind, a little bit comparable to what we get out of what we end up getting out of farming. It's like when you go in there, you initially just go. This is what I do is I initially go get all the deposits, every single damn one, just find them
Yeah.
all. So I get a huge chunk of ore to start off with, and then after that, I'm stuck using the gnomes for all
Right.
of the rest of the mining. And so I get that initial nice little burst. I'm probably going to end up with like 100 gold commodities
Right.
after this next one. But then if I'm only getting maybe 8 to 20 a day-ish, it just doesn't seem like it's going to be as fast. So it doesn't feel like it's got a good balance for you to be able to get all of that from the deposits, and then you're waiting for the gnomes to take forever. And that you have, unless you close that mine,
Right.
you're
Yeah, that's what I
stuck
was
with
gonna
that
say.
mine, and you're stuck with mining those veins until it's completely empty, unless you shut it down early and then go up and open up another mine. And that kind of feels wasteful because then you're losing 5 days of mining time. So it's definitely probably a lot of it is you have to weigh and consider what you want to do and how you want to approach the mine, and how much you want to want to bother with the gnomes. I know some people don't want to bother with the gnomes, they just want to close and go get all the deposits. um so maybe it would be of some benefit, not necessarily to speed up the gnomes, but if they could have it so every few days, maybe some of the actual deposits reappear. As part of
Yeah.
your like a kind of not a full reset, but just a random spawn thing.
Yeah, to give you
That
a reason to go look and spend time
exactly.
looking as well. Yeah.
Exactly. Like the only thing you're doing now after you clear out all the deposits is you're going in like possibly in the immediate area after after a while at least. You're going through the immediate area, make sure there's nothing that's going to kill your gnomes or attack your gnomes. And then there's not really much else to do unless you haven't explored the entire mine. Um so yeah, I think definitely there have to be some adjustments, but I do think as far as a product, it's much more polished than mining
Yeah.
came out initially. But that's because obviously, or farming, sorry, yeah,
Yeah.
farming came out. But that's obviously because farming was their first one, and they learned
Right.
from farming and they
Yeah.
improved upon it when they made mining.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff in chat here. Uh, uh Ergo has a lot of opinions about you know, the mines are too, well, not too big, but are big enough that I don't enjoy searching for the disturbances, but left unchecked that they can interrupt your operation. That kind of goes into what I was gonna say, is that like, so you have the slow speed of the gnomes, you have the RNG of them just randomly being stopped while you're not on the game, and then on top of that, you also don't get your deposits that you mine to respawn. So to me, it feels like a tactic that people may end up doing is just skipping the gnomes altogether and just closing their mine, which
I think
I
that's going to
think you were
be,
talking
yeah,
about a little bit ago. I
I
haven't
agree.
done that yet because I just wanted to see what the process with the gnomes was like myself before I decided to try any, weird cheese tactic like that. But um I just think it's kind of weird, like, I don't know. I'd be okay, like, I understand that you have to monitor the gnomes, like that's part of the gameplay. But like, it's very random and I don't like the randomness of it. And as far as Wyatt said, it's hard to compare the output of farming to mining because farming is a lot of manual command input and it's not the same system, so comparing them is eh. I would say to that you're probably right on that, but at the same time, I think you're always gonna have those comparisons because they're both agriculture skills.
Yeah.
That's just like, whether that's correct or not. I think people are still gonna do that. And
Yes.
obviously, you may have less of a comparison or more whenever the third one comes out. So
Yeah. I think that's just going to be a natural thing because the first one was, farming, so we're going to compare it to farming. Doesn't necessarily mean that the comparisons are equal or anything, or that they're going to be equal, but it's kind of a starting point for us to think, okay, this is how this went. This is how we're perceiving, and a lot of it is probably perceived concerns more than they actually are going to end up being concerns in the end. Um, but I do think that it's still valid to compare them as far as when we're just discussing it. Um, But I do agree, on the fact that it's probably right now for like immediate returns faster for driving just commodities to close up the mines because realistically a season is how long? It's what, 12 days?
Yeah, I believe it's
How
12
around
days.
there. Yeah, so realistically you could go in if you went into the first day of the season, mine, just get all the deposits in one day, close the mine, wait 5 days, get your next mine, do the same thing, and still be able to do it one more time before that season is up, and be able to get a large sum of ore before you actually have that much production from your gnomes.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's intentional or if they thought about that because, like, obviously we're not in
Yeah.
the pools or whatever. But like, I just it's the fact that you can close your mine and open a new one is a key point in all of this. Like, if you
Yeah.
were just stuck with your one mine and things respawned, it'd be an entirely different system, obviously. But like, because you can close down and open new mines and close mines and stuff like, and then the fact that like they just mine so slowly, it's like it's a weird dynamic. But I was gonna
Yeah.
say there's a lot of chat here. Beowulf here said that your gnome miners generate 450 ore per mine closed period, so it stands currently that you get more than 450 things from the deposits. You're better off closing your mine down completely. Like that's what we were
Yeah,
saying.
it's like I think I'm looking at my ore right now and I have 490 gold ore, but some of that might have been that some lingering ones I had from my previous mine. I did end up closing a mine, and that was primarily so I could find a better location that was just gold ore. I
Right.
chose to do that. It wasn't because of I was just closing it to close it. But I did just finish mining all of the deposits and ended up with that many plus enough lignite to be able to cover that and a little bit extra. Um, so yeah, I mean, if I can get probably 450 straight up just from doing the mine deposits and then close it up, I think I could make it a little bit faster just
Yeah.
by closing them. But that you also will eventually run out of mines, I guess. I don't know. How does that work?
I thought
Do they
they
eventually reset?
I thought that they like shifted where they were or something around howling every day. I can't remember. I thought it was in the announce post for it somewhere. Um, but I was gonna say, Ergo Proximus said, yeah, I agreed. They definitely learned a lot from farming. Yeah, 100%. It's good that they did. Um, and I hopefully we see the third agriculture skill a little sooner, and that it's even more polished than mining. Um,
Yeah, I'm excited for it. Whatever,
yeah,
all of these new
I'm
shiny
still
things.
curious to what it's going to be called because like. There's only a few commodities left, and they're all kind of like weirdo things like ash and ice and stuff like that. But and then Ictenna said in chat, it is definitely intended as a more long-term system to engage with at cerebral and slower pace compared with most systems. Part of the reason for that is that full clearing a mine is such a large effort that repeating that very often would be extremely demanding of time investment.
Sure.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess if you have the time investment, you can kind of min max it and do what you described, where you just mine the deposits, close, mine the deposits, close. But if you're someone like me who's working 40 plus hours a week now and doesn't have the time investment, maybe having the gnomes passively mine while you're not there is good. But at the same time,
Yeah,
you then have the RNG where they get knocked out while you're not there, and it's like, feels bad, man.
feels bad. Feels bad.
I think you should let me hire some guards for my gnomes. Like, I would
You
pay
need
extra
some
gold for that.
bouncers that's just gonna go in there and stand and
Yeah,
be looking tough and smack a bitch.
give every city a constable Beck and let us hire them to guard our mine. That's all I'm saying.
I like it. It'd be good. It'd be
But
good.
yeah, like to answer your question about like how we feel about it. Why I think a lot of people posted in here. I don't think it's bad, and I think it was going to always be obvious due to how complex it is that there was obviously going to need to be tweaks to it, no matter what state it released in. I think that it's definitely way, way better than it could have been otherwise, and I think that it's already in a great state. And as we go on, I'm sure you all will change it, and we'll deal with the changes as we do. And
Yeah.
it'll be in the end, it'll be super polished here in probably a year or two, or whenever the third agriculture skill comes out, and then I'm sure we'll go through the whole thing again then. So
Yeah. And even as it is, honestly, I don't know that it needs a ton of changes. Not like
right,
farming farming needed a lot of tweaks and adjustments, but mining, I really, even as it is right now, I'm satisfied enough. I would end up either,
Yeah.
if I'm really too busy, I've gotten, the gnomes that can do it while I'm not able to go in there, or if I've got a lot of time on my hands or able to, and the motivation, I can go do what I need to. So it's really not that bad.
Oh, I'm gonna
It
go to
said
the
gnome
sermon.
coin incoming year 500. You're
Gnome
gonna go
coin.
to the
Yeah.
sermon? How dare you? How dare you?
What? I'm not allowed to go to the sermon in the middle of the stream?
Nope. Nope.
But
Can't do
I
that.
do morning prayers on stream all the time. It's kind of like part of the stream. Because the
All
stream
right.
always happens at the same time as dawn.
Let's just go there. I'm
Oh,
there.
you're there
Look.
too. Are we?
Yep.
Is this like a weird form of
Meta.
metagame?
We're
Yeah,
metagaming right now. Oh.
we're gaming metally. Um, yeah. Is there anything else on the list you wanted to discuss? Is there anything
All
else
right.
anybody in chat wants to talk about or hear us
It's like
talk
I'm
about?
I'm looking at the list, and you guys have talked plenty about what's going on in October. I don't really have anything there, and interesting stories from the week. I don't have any interesting stories unless we talk about, the whole thing that happened with Duran this week, the event.
What would that be? Which one?
Um,
Was it
there's
the
the
events
the
post?
bandits.
Oh, the
Mm,
bandits.
yeah, there's a
I
small
didn't.
bandits
Okay.
event that's been going on. I wasn't there for part one. Part one was Sekiris, Yaku, and a couple of other people. And yeah, there's not much going on in Sealy. Like, we're not spreading the news around. So this is, if you take this meta, you take it meta. Um,
Be warned.
be warned. But yeah, there's some bandits that have been hired from some guy in Esterport, like who showed up in Esterport, that are basically killing off wolves and killing off elk and chasing people off. And then there's a bunch of loggers that have made a mill essentially in the lower western part of Western Ithia, and there's a bunch of lumberjacks down there. So there's definitely something just going on where they're attacking, Durrani kind of themes, but I don't know a ton about it. And I logged in late at night in my evening. I was just trying to piddle around, and I saw Rooks had actually died with Galilei. I don't know
Galilei.
how to say Galilei. So like, crap. I'll go check it out and see what's going on, because I knew the bandits were a thing. And then I ended up getting, roped into the RP. I actually emoted because I was in shaman, that I was using my vines to stop the NPC, and the Solani were good enough to play along and let the NPC stop moving around. And then we interrogated, and it was a lot of fun times. But I feel so bad for the whole thing, because I had to go log off mid thing, and I was rushing to like get Illidan over or somebody to come help me. Because I'm like, it's 9:30. I'm old and have been up since 4 o'clock in the
Right.
morning. Please let me go sleep. I'm so sorry, guys. So to whatever Solani, if you're listening right now, and I just want to say it was a lot of fun. I'm sorry that I had to go QQ on you. That's my thing. But that's
Yeah.
my interesting story for the day is, bandits.
Yeah.
And yeah. Let's see. Haven't the lumberjacks in Western Italy has been there forever? Yeah, actually, the lumberjacks have been there for a long time, but there are a few more than there used to be. So they've been increasing in numbers, and they're kind of, the actual descriptions have changed a little bit in a few rooms, I believe, to show that they've actually had some clearing of the trees. Before, I think the lumberjacks were just in the rooms, but I can't remember for sure. I do know there's definitely more lumberjacks than there used to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say in regards to having to log off because we're old people with early morning jobs. I've had to do that on poor old on Steve there and Srine's little event he's been doing for the Templars. I've had to do that, just like stay up past my bedtime for it, but then I kind of reach the peak of like how late I can wait, and then I just have to like be like, sorry, I gotta leave, and then I have to log off, and I feel bad about doing it and stuff. It's just I am not used to getting up at like, and me and you have talked about this for the past like 2 weeks, because you're the only one that I have on Discord that's up as early as I am when I wake up for this job. It's like
Yeah.
I'm just not used to. I'm really not used to getting up at like 6:30 in the morning. It's just not what I usually do. Um,
That's my everyday. And lately, basically, one of the girl that was the lead of our EMEA team ended up finding another job. So now I'm sometimes having to get up a little bit earlier and handle things in EMEA time. So good times. Good times. So I'm even up earlier than you are.
Yeah, but
So me
like,
trying to stay up past like 9 o'clock, I'm like, "Oh, I can't do this. I'm falling asleep at my desk, trying to do it. I
yeah,
miss being able to stay up until 11. I want to be young again. I don't want
right.
to be in my 30s. I want to be young. I'm almost 40.
Yeah, me too.
40.
Just had my 38th birthday a couple months ago.
Hey, I just had mine 3 weeks ago.
Oh,
3 weeks
crap.
ago. 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
We're the same age? I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yep. We're both old.
Shout out
Both
all the
old.
old people in Anatolia.
Yo.
But none of us will ever be as old as Jeremy Saunders, as I like to remind him in DMs all the time.
Jumpy. Yeah, actually no. I think Maz is older than him. Maz is
Oh,
older than
really?
him.
I didn't know
I
that.
believe so. Maz is. I'm not going to say how old Maz is. I'm
Yeah,
not
that's
going to do
fine.
that to him.
Yeah.
But he's. I think he's older than Jumpy.
Yeah. I like to mess with Jeremy a little bit. We've been friends off and on for years from where I volunteered a couple times, and we exchanged Christmas gifts one time, and so I consider him a bit of a friend. But I remember I messaged him a few months ago when I moved back, and I happened to be like, I had watched Million Dollar Baby. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that movie. It's got Clint Eastwood in it, and I like took a picture of it and showed it to him because like he's into combat sports, and I'm like I showed Clint Eastwood there, and I'm like, hey, this guy is almost as old as you, Jeremy. He's like, almost. I don't know. Fun stuff. Yeah, I think this is probably gonna end up being a shorter one. We can talk about a few things here at the end. Uh, oh, Yedev is like, at least I'm not the youngest in Anatolia more. It took 20 years though.
I mean, if we're all starting to play at the same time and we're all around the same age and we're all playing for 20 years, we're all still the same age, just older.
Yeah. I wonder who I do wonder who like the youngest player in Anatolia is. I wonder if
I
we
don't.
have any teenagers still.
We definitely have a few teenagers. I don't know if we have anyone at the age of 13 anymore, but I feel like
Yeah.
there's a couple of 16-year-olds that have been playing in the last
Oh, okay.
year.
That's interesting. I
It's
didn't
like I
know that.
remember I don't you don't usually find out until the person, feels awkward about whatever is going on and just feels like, "Hey, I should make sure to tell you I'm like 16." I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
"Okay."
And that seems so odd to us because we've all been playing since we were 16, like 20 years ago or whatever, you know?
Actually started when I was 18 because
Yeah.
I was specific, or 17 possibly. I specifically started in Achaia while I was going to college before I graduated from
Right.
high school. And I was playing in the computer lab at the college and in Achaia, and then Atolia opened. So yeah, I was at least almost an adult. Almost.
Yep. I think I was 17 or 18 when I started playing Ikea as well back in the late 90s. The first MUDs I ever played, I played when I was probably like 12 or 13, and it was when I had AOL like everyone else, and it was the Dragon Realms Gemstone 3 MUD that is now a pay to play MUD, but it was free on AOL at the time. That was the first one I ever played. I don't know that. I mean, that's a good topic to talk about. What was the first MUD that you all ever played in chat, and you, Sortania?
Me, it was definitely Achaia.
It was Ikea.
That
Okay.
was the first one. The player behind Tarrant, which I don't know if anyone will remember him or not. He actually brought me over from there. Like we came in at the same time. Same thing with Bulgarian. I was friends with him from Achaia. But yeah, Achaia was first, and I started out there and moved over with those three to come to Atolia when it opened.
Cool. Yeah, I wasn't at the very beginning of Anatolia, but like I think I started months after it opened, and
Yeah.
made my character then. And like I've said before, I was playing that character on Anatolia the night that Empyrean opened, and this was back before we had webs or clans, so we were talking out of character just plainly in says back then on Anatolia.
Oh God.
Those are the fun days.
I know. If you go back and you look up Zortania, I honestly, Zortania was my first character, and then I had a bad habit of suiciding my character until someone bought credits for me and forced me to not be able to suicide anymore. I'm not,
Nice.
I wish I was kidding, but that's
Yeah.
the story there. So the Zortini I have now is not, she's retired, but she's not the original. But that
Oh
was
wow.
my original. So if you go back and you actually go search history, I kept recreating her. So there
Right.
are posts all over the place that are from before that character that we have now is currently made. And yeah, you could actually even probably go search up like history online of just says between me and Cheyenne and some other people, and it's
Uh-huh.
so embarrassing at the
Right.
mix of how it's supposed to be a mix of role play and completely out of character at the same time. I look at it and I cringe at myself.
Yeah.
I didn't really learn to role play until I played Empyrean, and
Right.
so the player behind Sabati actually helped teach me how to role play and do that. So props to my girl there.
Yep.
And then I was able to come back to Atolia and actually make an effort with Solaria. And Solaria was the first one that I really
Hmm.
role played decently well with. But yeah, I don't miss that version of Atolia. We still have a lot of people that will occasionally do that, and I get it. You know, if that's just how you play the game for whatever you want.
Yeah.
Um, but sometimes it just makes my eye twitch when the people are semi out of character and say, "I'm like, come on, can you at least take it to a tell or to a clan, please? My
Yeah.
immersion, my immersion."
Yeah, every once in a while, even though my old character is retired, I still like to go back and like I think you can do this. I'm pretty sure I've done it before. You can look at the official background of your character, and
Mm.
it's hilarious to read some of those because they're really bad. Like mine's super bad, and I like to go back and look at it on occasion and be like, we've all
Oh,
come a long way in the past
oh
20
God.
years. So
Yeah, and Taz, I know that's you. I know that's you now. Now that you've made that comment, he's making me very ashamed of one of my history that I used to have on one of my characters because he says I still have my war cry set to your old history.
uh
And there is a line in one of my histories which has since been erased. I managed to get the admin to agree to erase it so I could rewrite it. It was like bongo tongo ting or something really
what?
ridiculously stupid. It was like the most
Oh,
asinine thing I've ever come up with. I don't even know where it came from. It was
yep,
supposed to be like some magic spell, but that's what the magic spell phrase was.
yep.
And yeah, he permanently made it his war cry so he can just annoy the ever living shit out of me with it. And this is the kind of friendship we have after all these years. He's got to still grill me on it.
Yeah, we'll go back. We'll go back a few minutes in chat here because people responded to what the first muds were. Tiani and Sryan both said Aetolia. Mule said Realms of Chaos. Chaos being Kaos. That sounds like it was probably like a PK mud or something. That sounds like a God Wars mud from back in the day, which I played a ton of as well. I think you said that Beowulf is Taz, but they said started on K at 13. Um, was I right about that, Mule? I used to play God Wars mods a lot too back in the day. Uh, Definitely like edgy player killer mods back in the day. It had its own client with music and pictures. Damn.
Nice.
How
That's
long ago
fancy.
was that? That sounds like it would have been on the cutting edge for mods back then, if it was a long time ago. Um, Ergo Proximus says I was 14 when I started. Before that, it was those chat room dungeons where you just bashed NPCs and leveled one at a time, and the fights were pretty involved. Huh. Uh, Man, I can't think of any mods I've ever played where the fights were pretty involved. I feel like a lot of the old leveling mods I used to play were ROM style mods, and the all the rounds were automated or whatever. You just typed
Yeah.
kill whatever, and it you killed things.
Yeah, it's like I did try a couple of others early on, and most of them were like that. They weren't anything as complex as what I ended up finding from the IRE games.
Yeah, that's another thing I would mention against between other mods that I was used to before I played Iron Realms games. Like I said, a lot of them were like you type, if you were playing the thief class on a raw mud, you started the combat by typing backstab, and then your rounds of auto attacks were automated, and then you like had mid rounder skills you could use. But like it's a big difference between that and like switching to an Iron Realms mud where you have balance and you have to actually do all your attacks.
Yeah.
It's always been interesting, the balance and equilibrium system. Let's see here. Artsy Fartsy says Aetolia was my first. I've tried Listernia once and killed off that character in 2 hours. Aetolia is my poison. I understand that. I tried Aetolia for a month, or I tried Listernia for a month after I quit Aetolia, and I didn't end up liking it.
Yeah, I tried Listernia at one point, and it was like, it's just not the
Yeah.
same to me. It's
Well,
kind of the same with any of them. They don't feel the same as Atolia, so I never am able to really get into them. But I have issues getting into games in general. Like I was obsessed with World of Warcraft for forever, and now I can't even play it.
yeah.
I'm limited pretty much just to Atolia and Diablo 3. That's all I have any interest in playing. My ADD just won't work for anything else.
Yeah, and Solani Hellera says Iron Realms launcher on Congregate 1415. I guess that was 2014 to 2015, or were you age 14 to 15? Let's see. Mule's like a Congregate player. They still exist. I guess so. Yeah, Ergo. I think I know what you mean. Like, yeah, you have like it. I think it again. I think it's really cool how we all take this for granted because we've been playing Iron Realms games forever. But like the combat system on the game not being automated is really cool compared to a lot of other mods, and I think that's why it's had a lot of success.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, you know, before and after my days in Achaea and even Aetolia and Empyrean early on, but between those, I would play all kinds of different mods. I'd play ROM style leveling mods. I would play God Wars mods, like I mentioned, and there was a lot of cool ones I saw over the years that had a lot of cool class ideas that came and went that I wish wouldn't have, you know, like wouldn't have shut down. Oh, Hailro was 14 or 15 years old. Okay, gotcha. Someone emoted giving me a key, and I didn't know what emotes were, and I thought I lost the key, so oh no, you logged in again out of shame. Moved to a K as a result of
I'm there.
that. Do we have a visitor for the stream that wants to come say hello?
You want to come say hi? Come on. You can say hi into my microphone. Come on. No?
No.
No? Are you going to do it? Hi.
Hello. Welcome.
Okay. Well, he can't hear you, so we're good.
All right. Let's see here. Okay.
You want to sit? Okay.
I've been talking all day now. My throat hurts.
Well, maybe you do need to end early so you can have a breather.
Yeah, I think today was an interesting stream. I think we did manage to cover a lot, even in 2 hours. I do want to mention a couple things before we get out of here. First off, I'll end the giveaway here in a minute. But according to Twitch, once we are done with this one today, this should be the last thing we need to do to get affiliate for the channel. We're finally there for affiliate. And so that means like once we get affiliate, I'm gonna start working on the custom chat emotes, and I'm gonna start working on things to do for channel points and stuff like that. So we'll look forward to that. And if anybody, like, once we have it going, if anybody ever wants to subscribe, you can use your Twitch Prime subscription to subscribe for free if you want to, that sort of thing. Oh, Taz says, I played Empyrean as a 14-year-old or so while playing RuneScape on another tab, and then the Diabolus or whoever had screwed up their lesson plan for newbies, and so the guy was just RPing a drill sergeant. Are you saying we're wrong, Recruit, or are you just too stupid to learn Decay? And I just panicked and deleted my character. I always thought there was a chance, Taz, that since your name was so similar to one of the Diabolus that you could have been that person. But there was a Diabolus that I played Empyrean with a lot, and his character name was Tech, Tek, and yours is Toz. So it looks like I might have been wrong about that, according to that, because it sounds like the Diabolus made you delete your character. So. Yeah, the Empyrean, in relation to Empyrean was very Wild Wild West. Anyone that's played that game, I'm sure, remembers that. There was a lot of wild stuff about that game.
Yeah.
And it was both good and bad, for sure. Ugh. All right. Well, I think I've run out of things to talk about. My throat's starting to hurt. I've been talking all week at the DMV. Taking pictures of people and telling them where to go next and things like that. It was
Yeah, and
not the same. Well,
I'm pretty worn out, but
yeah.
this is nice. This is fun, and you know, my kid's getting restless apparently.
Okay. Yeah, I will say that next week I'm sure there's going to be a ton more topics. We'll probably go our normal 3 hours again. We'll probably have more of the crew able to be around then. Also, I will say, like, obviously there's a ton of stuff coming up from the October events between now and next Saturday, so I'm sure we'll have a ton of stuff to talk about. Probably in addition to any of the normal events that the pools seem to keep doing throughout the weeks
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So, um, sorry it was so short today, but I think we all had a lot of fun for the most part. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, we'll get some stuff going with us having affiliate. It's gonna be fun. I've never had an affiliate channel on Twitch before. I really appreciate everybody supporting this. Um, and yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here, I think. But first, let's draw the giveaway before I forget that. Let's draw a winner. Are we ready? Dee Dee wins it this time. Look at that.
Woohoo!
Dee Dee's been here off and on since the very first stream, and she's not won one yet. That's awesome. I'm gonna give her the credits real quick.
Need that video proof.
Yeah, people got to know I'm doing it.
Congrats, Dee Dee.
Dee Dee's on fire lately. I will say this about Dee Dee before we go. She has been coming to lessers more lately, and I feel like every time I see her at a lesser and we're like attacking her, she tanks us for like 8 years. Like she is tough as nails nowadays. No joke. Like I feel like she's almost as tanky as Mazion these days. It feels like it sometimes. But yeah, we're gonna all get out of here now. Let's all go play Anatolia, and let's for those of us that it's coming up on evening, let's go have some dinner. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.
everyone.
Bye bye.